So I think we should pull some cards.
Okay.
And one of the things I want to pick out your favorite oracle deck right now, whatever you feel inclined to do. And what I thought was, and all of a sudden I've got this desire to pull this tarot deck over here because that's how I roll. You know, yeah, I've held all these cards out, but it's like, no, I don't want those.
No.
I want something different. So I'm
That's
gonna.
why I have to have them all. They're all around me.
know.
They're behind me. They're everywhere.
I know I'm like that.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, and then I have them lined up what I want, and then it's all of a sudden like, nope, no,
Every time.
every time. So let's go ahead and because we had talked about we want to pull the upper cards and the lower cards for our decks, and then I think actually we should use the tarot and go each of us pull and then use like a card from underneath for Aries and a card above for Aries for each of us, and then we can compare our notes and what messages that we get from that, because I think that'd be so cool as to
For each sign.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be super fun.
Yeah.
Yep. Do the oracle and then pull a card for each of the signs. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So let's get going. What deck are you using?
I am using my Izzy Ivy Beyond Lumeria. I love this deck. It's always has so many like little secret juicy messages and side messages like those Russian nesting dolls. And I see something different every time. Even if it's a card I'm familiar with, I always get something different. So I really like that. So we're looking at what does this Kazemi maybe want to highlight for us? What are the ancestors trying to show us here? What messages are we getting?
What's going to be
wow.
Kazemi? Okay.
Well, geez, I had a whole chunk come out, so
Fine.
you can't ever.
That's okay.
It's all right. Okay, on the top line. Oh, wow. Oh, no way. Environmental energy. So for me, bottom of the deck is environmental energy and it's fire. We got Mercury and Sagittarius people, and and you love dragons. There are two dragons kind of intertwining and then looking at each other, that mirror image, Solaris Sublime. And there's a person at the bottom sitting in lotus position.
Mutual
her
reception.
hair's kind of flopped. There she is forming a trine with herself and just kind of like submitting. The drag, like it's like looking at this information again. Why do I do that? Why do I communicate that way? Why do I receive communication that way? And it's all about, okay, what can we kind of surrender and accept and hear? What can we hear? And then you just want to talk about the bottom of your deck, and then I'll talk about the top.
Yeah, my bottom of my deck, I'm using the Denise Lynn Sacred Traveler deck because I'm going to be traveling.
I love that one. Yeah.
So the bottom of the deck for me was staying focused, hold the course. Staying focused, hold the course. And
okay.
What I think is really cool about, the two dragons that you had show up, when you have them both, when you have Mercury and Jupiter in mutual reception, so you have fire in Gemini's sign, and then you have Mercury in a fire sign. I think those are really cool things. And then you have the staying focused is, okay, that's such mental energy that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel this is like, okay, I don't think right now is the time to move forward with the plans, but it's like staying focused on what you're doing and hold the course and like, be like, okay, I'm focused on this right now. It's not the time to make the move, though. It's not the time to set that in motion. I think.
Yeah, in Lotus, you're listening.
Right. And I think that's what we'll get. We'll get those ancestor messages coming in from that. So that was the bottom of my deck. So what do you have?
And then for the fire energy too, you have to have, when you're talking about communication, that's a very mental, very swordsy air energy. You have to have air and space in order for a fire to actually get going and get started and keep going. If it's too dense with the with wood or whatever you're building with, there's no air pocket under there, that fire can't go. But yeah, it's definitely a seeking within. It's like looking inside. It's the pause for the cause to see deeper. Yeah, I can totally see that too. And it's like all about looking at the messages, looking at ourselves, and then how those energies play together. That's really cool. Super cool. What'd you get up top?
On the top, I've got grounding, go deep, explore your roots.
Ooh, I love the tree of life. I'm getting like the pinnacle of pentacles. We are all our own tree of life. Yeah, and grounding. Again, you have to be able to sit on the ground in that position. And it kind of does look like if these dragons were trees coming up to sit around her.
And
That's really cool.
I had a couple other ones like you did. You had like a bunch come out, and I had a bunch come out too. So this was the first one with grounding, and I think that's really important.
Okay.
These are fire and air signs that we are talking about, Gemini and Sag, right? And so the next thing that came out is begin now, but take your first step, right? So to me, I don't think the first step is a physical step. I think it's like making the plan. To me,
Yeah.
it's like figuring it out. Begin now. So you see, this person hasn't started down this road, but they're looking down this road. You see what I mean? They're
There is
not.
the start of this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
so there's that, and then and this is when I think we put things into plan with this Mercury retrograde and then moving direct, ascending the mountain, keep going forward. And I think that's what's going to happen when we hit the 15th of December. We have Mercury going direct on a full moon. Now you see the path. Now the way is clear. Now you can move forward. Now you can take physical action as you move
Boy,
forward.
those driving metaphors are sure coming in here too. Like drive, and now when we start moving forward on the 15th, that's when we start going, okay, we got the messages, and then we start moving. Okay. I like it.
So what do you have for your top part?
So to go with your the bottom was the looking out, right? That energy of looking deeper, maybe coming having a bird's eye view, pausing. Today is a 5-day. When you add up the dates of today, you get a 23, and that is an energy of 5, the Hierophant. So this change kind of energy, the portal keeper. Speaking of the Pinnacle of Pentacles, that 10 of Pentacles energy in MJ's deck that has those cats, those like Egyptian or Siamese kind of looking cats. Here's literally matching up to your card there where she's sitting at the bottom of that tree. That's what I see this as. You're understanding your own tree of life within the context of the bigger perspective outside of us, and then as a universal higher consciousness. I would not be surprised if people are really hopping timelines or understanding that they are the chooser of their timeline, and that does take pause and reflection. You're gonna go slower when you look at something from a different perspective. Driving in reverse is going to be different than driving straight forward. And then it's like once you find, I'm getting an ear squeezy, once you figure out that this is your power, look at her life force energy just open up and expand. That was my second card after the Portal Keeper. And that second one matches with your second from the top, which was that Ascending the Mountain? Yeah, that is so cool. And it's like, she's like, ta-da, I've arrived. So we're done with that whole like, whew, okay. And then it goes express your truth, throat chakra, which is our fifth chakra. And there's that blue butterfly with the wings expressing our truth. And then the solar plexus of radiant illumination, which is our didn't you pull that yesterday in our live? The solar plexus, the yellow,
Yeah, I
of the
did.
third chakra. So that's here as well. Trusting your joy, following your joy. Once you express yourself, get something off your chest, it makes you feel much happier. If there's been anybody with any blocks out there, they maybe you don't know what you're happy what would make me happy next. We have to practice that, as weird as it sounds, even if it's just for, from minute to minute or 5 minutes to 5 minutes. This time of slowdown and reflection is really needed. And there's definitely a big call here to be the bigger view, the higher perspective. Getting the bigger picture is our own inside our own tree of life. What is the bigger picture outside of our tree, and what roots of ours connect out into that outside piece? But this is about our own, like the Muppets, the puppet heads, the talking socks are talking to themselves. So this is all about internal and seeing our power here. There is a soul chariot there with that transformation, and it's a transformation of our happiness, speaking about what makes us happy. That's gorgeous. And I feel like this people just really don't know their own power here. What do you think?
Well, and what makes them happy? And what I did is I went ahead and asked for ancestor messages for Aries. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having a card come out, and then we're going to check the bottom of the deck. So this was really interesting. I really like this for Aries. So here is the top, the one that came out. It volunteered, actually. This is the Hermit. And this is from the Tarot of the Divine, which I love because it has all these little stories in it. But for me, it's about, telling Aries that you don't have to say anything. This is a very calm, it's like, this is my Harry Potter card, because it's like, this is the Patronus, sorry, in this thing. And it's like having that bravery and that protection and the wisdom, and both the Hermit and the High Priestess don't have to talk about it. It's not something
Mm-hmm.
that they're talking about. It's just like, I know what I want to do. I know where I'm going, and I'm just going to go do it. Right. That's a very Aries energy. And the bottom side of the deck, which I really like, what is coming up that we, unseen, on unconscious. This is this Nine of Swords energy, which is, the worry, the bad dreams, all of this. But I love this Nine of Swords because she is rising above that. You have the people that are down below her, but she's ascending. She is looking at things from a higher perspective, a higher mind, and she is fine. It's like, don't let other people drag you down into their pit of sorrow, pit of despair, as in, I'm sorry, I'm such a Princess Bride person, the pit of despair or something.
Yeah.
I was like,
Isn't it pit of despair? Yeah.
yeah, something like that. So anyway, it's this person that has this higher mind that's like, no, it's not that way for me. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a higher mind. And I think that is the message for Aries. It's like, okay, you can be in your own personal space, in your own mind, doing your own thing, and not in this energy of woe is me, right? Getting out of that. And we have to remember that we are getting the benefit of Saturn being direct.
Yeah.
And Mercury and Saturn are going to be going through some squares. And Saturn is going to make us work.
Where
So,
is Daddy Saddy? Daddy Saddy right now. Saturn. Where's my Saturn card? Daddy Saddy's in Pisces. That's still at the Sword in a Museum energy of developing sharpness of intent. So that makes a lot of sense. Have you been seeing lots of Nine and Ten of Swords as well?
yeah, I've been getting a lot of
Overall,
Ten of
yeah.
Swords. It's done, finished, move
Yeah,
on.
and Aries is more honey badger energy. It doesn't matter what anybody else is saying. They don't give an F. So
I'll let you go
it
ahead
doesn't
and,
matter what anybody else is going on. Okay, let's get Aries energy here. Aries energy advice about this week here, as far as, and as soon as that ascending the mountain, I wish I would have said it. I was like getting the hermit vibes there, because the hermit's at the top of the mountain. And this is like foreseeing with that looking glass and that first card of where you're going to go, and then showing up at the bottom of the mountain and going, okay, I know that's where I'm heading. I already spotted my destination, and now I just got to get there, and it shouldn't matter what anybody else says. Don't overthink, just go. Queen of Swords here, Aries energy. So like the honey badger, right? I don't give an F what anybody else says. I know what my truth is, because my truth is my truth, and that's as I see it. Now, Queen of Swords can take a little while to make a decision, but unlike the King of Swords, but the Queen of Swords, like the King of Swords, once she's made that decision, it's done. Like that's it. The cut's been made, and those everything in the past is something from the past, and they have no problem cutting it out once they make that decision. And crossing their energy, the bottom of the deck, Seven of Wands. I love this card in this Liz Houston deck, because it's, yes, taking a higher ground, standing your ground, but see how this figure is looking down at the masks she has worn along the way. It's not just about what is going on all around you. This is internal. This is what we're looking at ourselves in the mirror about. And I think Aries is seeing that, especially coming down to the close of the North Node. Like, we're getting down to that first degree. We're only about a month and a half off. Really sooner than that, but I feel like this is what got Aries there, was being able, once they're on the top of the mountain, really looking at, what did I contribute to that, and why did I have to cut those people out? I contributed to that as well. Yeah.
Well, and that taking that information with them, it's not like they have to make a big thing about it either. It's just like, I know what I know, right?
Yeah. I know what I know.
So very, very nice energy. So I did ask for Taurus. So this is what I got for Taurus. And this came from volunteer from the deck. This is the Five of Cups. And with the Five of Cups, 3 are spilled and 2 are remaining. And when you have the Five of Cups, to me, it's all about perspective. Because when you have the 2 of Cups remaining, that is love, truly. And you have these cups that I see in the water with her there, but it's like, they're not broken. I mean, it's not like you can't reuse them. And you always know that with the Five of Cups, there's a way that she can travel into the distance. It's like you have regrets, but all is not lost. And she needs to focus on the more positive things that she's got going for her. Right. And I feel that's what's going on with Taurus. Taurus is having Uranus there. So it's been, with Taurus being a fixed sign, having Uranus there hasn't been, things that haven't gone as expected, because Uranus doesn't do the expected. But you have to adjust and take what comes your way and then move onward with it. And you do have the full moon there. And I think that's symbolizing the full moon that we're going to be having when Mercury turns direct. I think that will give you that.
On the 15th, maybe that's when they turn around and walk towards that 2 cups. And think about retrograde. Regret is usually the main theme of a 5 of Cups energy, and all different decks mostly show them looking at the 3 side of the cups. Some of my newer decks have the focus on the 2, so I find it really interesting that different artists are choosing what to focus on, because eventually, once we look at that regret, we do have to turn around and go, okay, I learned from that, and now here's where I'm going, which is very similar to what I pulled for Taurus as far as a page of cups here. She's sitting on the entire cup, so that's your heart's cup is full. But what I find interesting in this deck is she's got two faces. So again, we're seeing kind of that mask theme of these in the two heads. She's looking back in the past, and there's antlers. Like there were on that first card that you had, and I've been pulling a lot of antlers, which is elders, elk energy is about the also 10 of Pentacles energy. Our elders, our ancestors. She's looking back at her past without fear, and then that is going to inform her future as she turns her face the other way. This Page of Cups has to, in order to move forward, has to really look at that past energy, has to look at the elk energy, has to look at the way she's learned how to love. She's had to learn how to fill her own cup. And then she goes, now I'm ready to move into the future and turn forward. There it is. That was coming out in the pre-shuffle, that six of cups. The difference in this deck, these are twins here. So they are twins, except the six of cups is usually like, oh, this is someone from the past coming into your present to affect your future. This is more of an energy of nostalgia. But the bird, the swan, is a skeleton. This bird, the swan, has sung its song. So as the myth goes, when the swan dies, he sings his last song at night. This swan has already sung his song. So for her to be looking at the past, and you have that regret energy there, it's just to inform us. It's to help us, so that we can look at the ways that we've learned and why that regret played out. But now we can move more into the future.
And this was on the underside of the deck for Taurus for me. And this is the death card. So
wow, okay, yeah.
Endings.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely endings. And it's, death is that Pluto card. It's the Pluto energy of something is done and there's regrets. And I feel very strongly that that's what's going on here, that it's like, it's time to clean that out and move forward. And I think that is part of what this process is right now. Maybe for the Taurus person, is dealing with whatever may have disappointed them in the past, and having it create space for something brand new and better to come in. Although it's going to take a while, because Mercury is in this retrograde, and that's what these messages have been about.
Yeah.
Is this is part of the process. And although you might see where your vision is going to take you, where the focus is going to be starting from the 15th going forward, because Mercury will be direct, it's going to be moving over those degrees from 6 degrees up to 22 again. And then that's when you can make that plan going forward and take steps even. But especially really having, I think this retrograde is about dealing maybe with some of those emotions and some of those feelings. You have the air and fire is where all the signs are right now. And the fact that you had two twins show up on that Six of Cups.
Yeah, and this is also Scorpio Pluto energy. So 2, 3, 4 is cardinal, 5, 6, 7 would be fixed energy. So we've got double Pluto here, people. Do you feel like this might be the turning point? That 15th might be when this person starts looking into the future and focusing on those 2 cups instead of the 3.
Yeah, I really like the cards, what they've been saying.
I know.
Pretty consistent.
That's really cool.
So let's see what Gemini
has. For Gemini, I'll see what popped out here. Okay, let's see if I might as well. Okay, fine.
I had 2. Oh, wow. Okay. So I had 2 come from, just pop out for what would be for the message. One of them is the Empress. To me, that's allowing things to come in for you, right? It's that energy of, and because this is Gemini and it's ruled by Mercury, don't force anything. Don't push. And because underneath, it also came out with the 5 of Wands, which is like, it's either training or arguing energy. Be like the Empress isn't arguing anyone. I'm like, I think this is a great advice for the holidays. You're the Empress. You do not argue with anyone.
That's right. And with the duality of Gemini, they can feel one day one way, one day another. So they could even be arguing with themselves and kind of duking it out with the two sides of their personality. But what you said about, the Empress manifests, she doesn't, she just waits for it to come to her. For Gemini, I got the Three of Wands, which is the manifestation coming to being. She's watching that ship come to port that she's already called on. And what ship might that be, Gemini? There's a Two of Cups here. The difference this time, I feel like, because we're learning, we're relearning, and now we're moving forward. What we're relearning is, we just said it, the Two of Cups. We're focusing on the Two of Cups instead of the Three, because we've learned from the Three. The difference is, this time, this Aries with the horns, the ram horns, she is putting her foot under the branch of this earthy person, and he's a fixed energy. He's there. He can't move. He can't just pick up and move his tree. He's housing all the animals and calling them in. So there will be that Empress energy. But this person, who's the fiery one, is making the choice to commit this time and not just falling into that. This was purposeful. This is purposeful manifestation. And the Empress always manifests with purpose, even if her mind kind of duels back and forth. And my bottom energy was confusion. Seven of Cups. That's emotional fragmentation. So that's like, do I want this? Do I not want this? Is it going to be something good? And again, there's those masks, looking at the many masks. Things that work out for us is when we're being genuine and being ourselves. We're choosing to put our foot underneath that root. We're choosing to be there. And when we don't choose something, that's when we get all confused, right? Because it just kind of just comes in and you're just like, okay. It's different this time. This is choice. Even amongst confusion, even if there's many options, even if there's a little bit of fear, this is a specific choice.
And I got the 10 of Cups as the underside of the deck. And to me, I feel like that's the answer. It's coming. You'll be happy about it. But I think the energy I'm getting for Gemini, things are in retrograde. Let things come to you. That would be the number one thing. You are the Empress. You're not going to get in the fray. You are going to be yourself and take things. I really feel, with tying it into your cards, that the other person is going to make the decision about pursuit. And I think they need to make that decision, not you. They need to make that decision of, okay, this is somebody that I really like and I want to go forward with. And that's what I think this energy is that with it, you allowing it instead of pushing for it yourself is the right answer. It will come in.
I like that.
And I think there's confusion about that, but I feel like the confusion is, I should make the choice. They have to make their choice too. I think the person coming in needs room to make their choice instead of you being the person to determine everything. Just allow it. And there might be confusion there, but it's like, you got to let them make the decision. It's
So
like,
Gemini needs to be the tree. They need to be that, like, I've got this beautiful shade. I've got this luscious treetop for all these birds to sit in. That's Empress energy. You do not, I mean, you see sometimes the Empress kind of, just chilling in some decks. And it's like, because you know how to manifest, you're calling it into you. So yeah, maybe Gemini's the tree this time, and they've been the little traveling Wilbury the other times, because Geminis can be hard to pin down. But I think if Gemini pins themselves down and calls in what they want, that it doesn't matter if the other person's confused or like fights him on it or not. Just be like, okay, well, I'm the tree and this is amazing. So come or go. But yeah, I think Gemini, if they don't stay in your tree, someone else surely will, because it's a beautiful tree.
yeah. And I really feel like that's the energy. It's just like, hey, if that other person doesn't want to make them a commitment, okay.
Yep.
Because someone else will come along. Someone else will come along.
I like it.
I'm getting
That's
that.
right. That's
for you.
right. I love that. Oh, and I just picked up my deck to just set the cards randomly, and right there was the Empress.
You can't.
Love that.
Okay, so
Who's
this is
up next? Cancer.
Cancer. This is what oh, yeah, this is what came out for Cancer. We're getting major arcana stuff here. Truly. It's a big deal. So what I had come in, there was two that popped out, of course. This is the Lover's card. And so it's a number 6 card. And to me, it's the lovers very often are people that are so different from one another. And it's like, okay, we're different from one another, but that is part of what the fun is, right? It's part of the attraction. It's part of what it's okay to not be exactly the same and to have different interests, right? It makes for interesting times, right? So I really like this energy of the lovers that came out. And then the other card that came out with that is Judgment, little monkey mind here.
Yeah.
Judgment for me is always Hecate. You're at a crossroads. What do you want to do? You get to make the decision, Cancer. And I would say, Cancers are about love, but I think it's also having good boundaries with that, the judgment of, okay, I don't have to be responsible for everything in this relationship.
Yeah. You have to allow the yang to yang, and you got a yin, your yin, and yang, because that's opposing energies that come together. There's something to learn there, like from your sister sign. Opposition is opportunity. It's opportunity to grow and pull more towards that person's side of you. They pull more towards yours. You're finding that common ground. And the Two of Cups is the minor arcana lover's energy. The Two of Cups is Cancer energy. So I find that terribly fascinating.
And the judgment being, don't do relationships like you've done them before.
Yeah.
Like you've always done them. Go a different route. Because I see the sun shining through on this, and judgment is the thing with judgment is not just about two roads. It's a crossroads. There's more than one choice, right? So I think that is really cool energy. And the thing that I found interesting because of this, doing this relationship differently, on the underside of the deck was the 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. And isn't that what Cancer always wants, is someone that pulls their own load and you're not doing everything? So I think let them, you decide that you're doing this relationship differently. You're not responsible for everything.
And guess what? If you stop doing the things and give them that space for the fire to burn, right? You can't start a fire with you're like, here, I got all the kindling. Well, it's too much. Like, and then makes it lopsided. That's not a yin yang balance. That's not opportunity, right? That's clouding the energy or flooding the energy. That fire's not gonna go. Beautiful there with that wish fulfillment.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what you have to say for Cancer coming out.
9 of Pentacles. The huzzah. This is my huzzah.
Yeah.
And she's like spreading her arms. And 9 of Pentacles traditionally is like the pillar of the community, someone who's well established that shares their riches. Funny that I drew a little red Corvette on my Mercury retrograde little write-up, because for me, that's what that bird symbolizes. That was a symbol of status to have a falcon. Nobody can still get a falcon. Like, it's really that's rare. So that's a status symbol, kind of like a little red Corvette is. That's coming into your own, appreciating what you have to bring to the table as a whole ass person, and not just needing to be completed, needing to have your cup filled by overfilling other people's cups. And if you can see it, I don't know if you can, but from her arms, there's like that little sheer. I always talk about Dance of the Seven Veils when I used to perform. You are unraveling the story one little piece at a time. So I feel like this retrograde for Cancers is kind of unraveling or undoing that story. And then this veil is like the butterfly wings here of this transformation energy, this life force, this vitality, and then the happiness. I mean, it's huzzah, look at me. So I feel like, yeah, Cancers coming in, really coming into themselves. And even in an energy, this is Ten of Swords here, and there's nothing, one sword would have been just fine, but look how you're thriving. No matter what comes at you, you've done this. So I feel like too, Cancer needs to give themselves a little credit. And by remembering we're ready for the next thing, we're like, okay, I learned that, ready, next. Stop, smell the roses, be proud of what you've accomplished, and be proud of yourself for pouring into you, because the Ten of Swords is a reset. That is, there's literally nothing that you can do about whatever your situation you're finding yourself in, or what is coming into your energy. We talked about this before we started recording. It's like Cancer holds on to pain. It's like always a little bit of it comes with them inside their Cancer shell. And then we'll move sideways, and still like, oh, I'm over that. Well, Ten of Swords, you got to really be over it, because that has to reset to that Ace of Truth, that aha moment, that V8. And yeah, it's coming slow here, but even under that, just the Knight of Pentacles there's the Fool energy, taking a new leap, a new approach, because there's the 10th Pentacles. She's got her 9. And after we let go of this 10 swords, after we reset to an ace, here comes the person to make it that 10 of Pentacles.
Well, and the Nine of Pentacles to me is also someone who's very independent. It's an independent woman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yep. He's like, yep. And you'll get to your destination, even if it's a little slower, because we had to hang around and boohoo for a little bit. That's okay. We're emotional people. That's the beauty, the depth of a Cancer. So to even see 9 of Pentacles for a Cancer is great news on my end, because it's like, yeah, I've been hurt, but it's not stopping me on my journey from going up that mountain this time. It's not stopping me.
Yeah, I love that.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
And so Leo, I had
Leo
jump out, and it's interesting because this is the Three of Coins. And for me, usually the Three of Coins is very much about being around other people and celebrating. And this one is like, I had to look up the meaning for this, because it's like, there's some scary people in the background. But really,
are they masks?
Yeah, those are masks. So this
wow.
is that kind of story where she's actually their apprentice, and she's dancing with joy, and they're very proud of her and everything. But that's working. It's Three of Cups is working with others. And usually it's very much about you working with friends, right? And having a good time with friends and just enjoying. And that's so Leo energy to be, and you got to remember, we've got Mars is in Leo now, and it's going to be talking to Mercury as we get to this Cazimi at 6 degrees. So I think that's where Leo is getting some of this energy from, is that there's going to be things working on that. And then the interesting thing that came out with it was the King of Swords, which is that discernment, right? It's like, yeah, I'm going to go out and have a good time, but I'm going to keep my eyes wide open. I'm going to it's the creativity there, the happiness is there, but what am I working towards? What are my decisions going to be? I think that is really interesting of what's going on for them. And then on the underside of the deck, I did get 6 of Swords, which is moving into calmer waters. So I feel like this trine energy with Mercury, once it stations direct, and then Mars is retrograde. Probably, I think it's at about 4 degrees. So it does count as a trine, but Mars is going to go backward, and then it's going to go into Cancer, which is where all this water to me is. So there's going to be things that you're going to be working on, but it's like, you know what? Enjoy yourself, have a good time, use discernment, use the facts, make your decisions based on the facts. And then you're going to be moving into that calmer water energy as things move forward. We're going to be talking about Mars retrograde at a different time, but this is that energy definitely of, things are changing. And I think as things change, don't get bogged down in negativity. Keep that positive outlook in everything. And then things will be much smoother. Again, I feel it's like being smart about things, not enjoying yourself, but watching things, and then things will naturally progress to moving out into calmer waters, as opposed to, there just doesn't feel like any friction energy here. It just,
Yeah, because usually, like I was thinking too, because Leo's usually pretty fast energy, so to kind of see them enjoying the ride on that card is pretty interesting. It's like Leo's getting in, they're slowing down so they can get into their feels a little bit more. And what that Sabian symbol is for right now, 6 degrees, some minutes, Leo, I have it on my other page, is the constellations in the sky. So maybe they're on the boat to slow down and like really see them as the directions. That's the pointers of the way, right? And the meaning is knowing of the permanent spiritual truth beneath the illusion of impermanence, that which changes moment to moment, like I love you, I don't love you, that is impermanent because feelings can change. And things that can, Leo's very quick, like, oh, I want to go over here, I'm going to go, that's going to make me happy. But for them to slow down a little bit and really enjoy the ride and then go, oh, I've been guided all along, that's pretty dang cool. And then that King of Swords energy too, like slowing down enough is what brings the knowledge, right? Let's see what flipped over here for Leo. That is what brings the knowledge. Ace of Swords. So this is she's walking towards your truth. And she's shielded. She has an umbrella over her head. And it's butter yellow. Butter yellow for me as a reader is soulmate energy. So she's walking towards that soulmate energy. And it could be two. We keep seeing those twos. There could be a choice between two, but there is a truth. And Leo, instead of kind of skating around it or making a joke or like, oh, come on, we can do that later, let's have fun right now, it's being very like, nope, I'm going to walk right through it and not around it this time. I'm going to slow down, enjoy the ride. Whereas maybe, there's some hands that are tied here with Leo, like they have no choice but to kind of walk towards that truth. Bottom of the deck, we've got many shuffles in between here, and Six of Cups is back again. So this might be the choice between two. It could be a past person and a new person, and then we see two, balance on each side here. Wow, like as far as there's two on that side, two on this side, three on this side, three on that side. Man, I feel like Leo might be up to this point. If they were holding back, there's another mask. There's a component of themselves they hadn't weighed in as a factor. So this could even be Leo looking at their own personal truth instead of walking toward a person who is your truth. Seeing the writing on the wall, seeing the constellations in the sky. There's roots here. It's like that's past. And then here's also rewriting history. So you can, when we're going retrograde here, we're slowing back down to see what we've learned. But now we can move forward and rewrite that novel any way we want it to. Wow. Yeah. I always get for Leo fours. Four cups, Four of Pentacles. It's like being skewered by the past. Yeah.
I think this slowdown
I
is
mean,
good for Leo. I
she's
really
been
feel,
filleted here.
yeah,
What's that? Oh, yeah, with the retrograde, you think
I
maybe
think it's good for
because
them.
of, yeah.
I think it's really good for them. I think it's going to give them kind of settled energy where it's um, how to bringing something important out of them. I feel like that's part of what this is going to be with them. And honestly, I think when Mars gets back and has done its retrograde and then gets back into Leo next spring and covers those degrees again, I think that's going to be amazing for Leos.
Yeah, I think this is I feel like they're kind of going through it here right now as far as, oh, I didn't realize that those things from when I was a child, I didn't really believe it before, but maybe they're starting to see the truth of that now. The things that they've held on to, perhaps that they didn't even realize was a problem or were affecting them or were kind of leading them like a ring through the bull's nose with that fixed energy, maybe kind of resisting some kind of personal truths here as well. But I think it feels like a willingness to rewrite
Yeah.
is what it's feeling like to me here, based on their own again, looking at themselves in the mirror, looking at their own behaviors and how that has led them to where they are now. It's like no longer going, oh nope, wasn't my fault, it wasn't anything I said or did. Now it's like accountability time, I think, here
That's
for
good. I like that.
Leo.
Yeah, I feel that definitely too. Well, and we have Virgo coming up here, and I had come out of my deck the Chariot for Virgo, which is, Cancer energy, but it's like it's moving forward triumphantly, and Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. So it's really feeling this energy, and I feel like it's especially once it turns direct again, I think that there's going to be a lot of really good plans that Virgo can make. The thing with Virgo, and I will say this about three signs: Virgo, Libra, Cancer. Um, they give too much. They
Yeah.
they have more than enough love, but they'll run out of energy. And I think Virgo has to be aware of, sometimes they plan to the point of planning, but they don't move forward. This is telling you to move forward, right? This is saying,
Yep.
okay, you're going to need to move forward. And I think that will happen again when Mercury gets the direct, when it turns direct on the 15th, because that's going to be like the go time. Is what I feel
Yeah,
like.
and that's like yin and yang aligning. It's like this two sides of yourself that you're fighting with are in agreement, right? Kind of a King of Cups energy of the soul drives the chariot. And we see no rain. So it's like that yin. Okay, I'm surrendering and I'm taking action. And I found the balance of that. And I'm not over giving and over saturating with my love and attention and energy. Yeah, for sure.
And then what comes out then? Two of Cups. This is the Two of Cups that comes out after that. So it's like, when you allow the other person to be an adult, right?
Yeah.
And be responsible for their own things and unlearn what you've done in the past and are moving forward, I think, it's a whole much more moving forward, I just feel like moving forward and then giving that person space, right? I feel that's the energy of this Virgo energy. It's not being the one responsible for everything. I mean, there's two
Yeah.
cups, but I noticed that the cups are on different tables. You know what I
I
mean?
looking at the colors, I was wondering if like one was stone and what one was silver, one was gold.
Yeah, they're different. They're very different from one another. I mean, that's the thing again. It's that energy of there's differences there, but there's also, I feel that there's independence too. I feel like
Yeah. The
there's
opportunity. Yeah.
and the Two of Cups is love, but it's also they're not exactly the same. It reminds me of the Lovers card very much, where
Yes, it's the
they're
lower
different.
octave up lovers. Yeah, it
Yeah.
absolutely is. And it's what you want wants you. So by being the tree, by Virgo being the partner that they want to attract and staying steadfast in that, again, back to the Empress energy, you wait. That's what you're by being what the partner that you want. That's what you're manifesting. That's the order you're putting into the universe. Now, I wasn't getting any volunteers, so let me see if I can. There was a Knight of Wands on the bottom of that. Wasn't getting any volunteers here. There's like a little bit of hesitation. This guy. Page of Swords on the bottom, 10 of Wands. So Page of Swords is the youngest page, but they are the researcher. They've always got their ears to the ground. They're always listening. They are wanting to learn. They have a passion for wanting to learn. The Page of Swords, it's like she's standing on this whole little rock by herself here and surrounded by water. So I find that a little bit odd. There's some light that's coming through the trees, kind of shining a light on her. So, Virgo, what are we researching here? All these burdens. So 10 of Wands is about setting down the burdens. It's when the old man is coming to approach the album. That would be the fourth album of the song this is on that I'm trying to think of right now. That's not coming to my head. But the Hermit's on the inside with his lantern. Led Zeppelin 4. Thank you. The 10 of Wands guy, the old guy, is carrying on the front of that album all the burdens until he gets to that hermit energy of ascending the mountain. So I feel like now Virgo is really researching and deciding, hey, and again, looking at the mirrors of the past, what can I set down now? I don't have to do it the way that I've always done. I don't need to do all the work. I don't need to be overburdened. What things moving forward in the future? That was an old skeleton. That was my old self. That was my skeleton of the past. This is my new self. There are new buds of growth on the top of these wands, and that all came from self-reflection. And Virgo is the hermit energy. So I find it really cool that front of the album, they are the hermit at the top of the mountain, but they're at a stage right now where they're willing to kind of put themselves in a beginner's mindset, even if people don't like it. Because guess what, guys? The people around you who burden you, they do it because they can. Because that's the way you've always done it. We teach people how to treat us. And if you've always been the one to do everything, you're going, you know what? And it might feel like, hello, where did all my friends go? Well, were they really friends in the first place, or people that you needed in your life if they were just willing to just take? And I feel like maybe Virgo's kind of getting those messages in at the moment of, oh, they weren't really appreciating me for me. They might have just been appreciating what I was doing for them. Let those people go, Virgo. Let them go. Because you got this new energy. You need the energy for you. You need the energy for you. And there's 6 of cups underneath that again. So this definitely, the retrograde, the re-examining all the past is coming back in here. And it's definitely been a burden. You've been given to, even if people have been mean to them. You know, this 5 of Swords energy, it's like she's not a happy camper here. She's not supposed to be there. And 3 of Swords, all in the past. We're really looking at those and how we kind of how we need to move forward in the future in the Fool's energy, and really take that position and pause at the top of the mountain. I feel like there for Virgo, you need to pause for the cause and enjoy the view. For once, Virgo, enjoy the view.
Well, and I think too, the chariot that came out for Virgo, is also definitely about moving on, right? From those relationships that were like that, where there was no equal exchange of energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that I think has changed. So I feel like that, and then when you have um, the lovers coming from it, I think stopping those relationships that were like that and recognizing that and then moving forward, I think is just what the answer is to all of that past energy, that all of
Yeah.
relearning, unlearning, redoing, thinking about those things. And again, coming forward when Mercury goes direct again. Um,
Yeah, you cannot move forward the way that you got there. It's not going to be the same. It's not the same mountain. This is all new. This is like, okay, I'm going to do everything different.
everything completely different.
Beginner's mindset.
Yep. So
Let it go.
I pulled for Libra, and this was really interesting because then I got thinking, so I had the moon come out for Libra, and I'm like, so my download was basically, oh, this is definitely about the full moon in Gemini. Definitely about because a lot of times it's like the emotions, the intuition, everything. But to me, this is Libra. Um, Perfectly capable of being themselves. Look at the mirror of the moon in the water here. And what I want to point out is with Libra, when you have this full moon, Libra is an air sign. And so um, is the energy of Gemini, and um, anything that's going on with the energy of um, you have Jupiter that it's trining with, and then Libra's getting the benefit of this energy because you have in Sagittarius, it would be a sextile to what's going on in Libra. So this would be the energy of them getting a benefit from this direct full moon Gemini energy. I mean, sorry, Sagittarius energy. I keep thinking of Mercury being the ruler. But you have the trine energy that's going on with Jupiter with things in Libra. And then you also have the sextile energy of things going on because it'd be Sag, um, um, Scorpio is before that, and then it would be Libra. So that's sextile energy. So that's getting a benefit, helping energy for Libra in this. And then I got the 10 of Cups. They are being helped. This is really, really helpful energy for Libra and all of this that's going on. This is like Libra's. This is like getting a free pass for Mercury. I feel like this is really, really good energy for them because it's beneficial. It's sextile energy. It's anything from Jupiter as a trine. Pluto that just entered into Aquarius is also an air sign. It's a trine energy. They're getting a lot of benefit right now. So I would say Libra, take this and work with this. And I like that she's by herself here.
And look how those two look like see how that the cups and the 10 of cups looks like the bridge that she's standing on. And that 10 of cups is like the base of the triangle pointing down to the two people there. That's finding your own 9 of cups, then the 10 of cups. Like it's all that same about what you attract. And with her being on the bridge there, right in the center, I actually drew a red bridge today on the second page of my notes because it was all about there was no middle ground of having to, is it this or that? Because that moon card can be a slippery slope into indecision. So, like, once she decides who she is, once she finds that energy, that's what's going to point down to that 10 of cups, and she's standing firm there. So let's not be confused. Let's not go back and forth. There is no illusion here. The 10 of cups is really coming there Wow, that was something. And the reason I drew the bridge because it was Emperor energy. And as I was smiling that you pulled that card, I'm like, oh my God, I drew that today. It was for Emperor energy. And that was what fell out on this chunk here, that stabilizing force. I also drew 4 dots like that, stabilizing energy. So that could even be, yeah, like Libra's bossing up. They're taking charge. They're getting firm in what their needs are and of what they want. No middle ground. And then I've got 1111 on the bottom here, 4 of Wands. Yeah, and that tree, the tree metaphor again. It's like this feminine figure is is bossing up. So if you're a Libra feminine, you might be bossing up here. King of Cups, Ace of Cups under that. Geez. Yeah. Libra's bossing up. They're bossing up their energy. And what you want once you, Libra, in that 10 of Cups, that's someone in there with you. And 4 of Wands is equal partnership, equal action, and whatever label that you put that on that friendship, business partnership, love, any kind of one-on-one dynamic. It doesn't matter the label. It's what you two decide. But by bossing up and standing firm and not being kind of wishy-washy or being nervous about the moon energy, being nervous about things you're unclear of, don't be. All you need is being clear for you. You're the only one that needs to be clear. Then the energy comes to you because you bossed up. Lining up your head and your heart brings that Ace of Cups.
Yeah,
For sure.
nothing but good news for
Dang.
Libra,
I
right?
was gonna say, I don't normally, like, Libras can kind of be like on the Gemini side. You never know what cards are gonna come out. You never know what you're gonna get. That's good news for Libras. Gosh, and in the Libra part of your chart, guys. So remember that you can hold on to your whole chart, and as we're going through each sign, just keep moving the advice along to the life area that pertains to for you.
Especially if you have a personal planet in that area of your chart and you can go, oh, that's my Venus that's there in Libra. Okay.
That's my MC.
Yep.
And
See?
it's at 15 degrees with so Placidus. And so literally in the middle of the bridge, like
Yeah.
right the 30 degrees. That's great.
So for Scorpio, I had the 5 of Swords come out. And to me, the 5 of Swords is, I just want to say to Scorpio, why do you care what other people think? I mean, that's what I feel like this is saying. It's like, okay, take your time out to, I mean, she's taking the time out to deal with her emotions. She is. And I think she may have some kind of regret, but to me, it's very much about once she has done that, and I think that's what the retrograde part is, then when you get into that direct motion, all right, it's time to, grow up and move forward. It's time to get going. This pity party is over. And Scorpio feels things deeply. So I don't want to say rush on because Scorpio is the deepest feeling of all the signs. And the best description I've heard of this, and I feel it's very true, that Scorpio feels things to such a depth that poets cannot write about it. That's how.
Oh, boy, do I know it.
And
Yep.
so that's what I think you're going to be facing with some of these things with this Mercury retrograde. But guess what came out from the underside of the deck? The sun. The sun came out. And look at how close these are.
I'm looking at the color energies. Is that the Sith? Is that the dude that guards the river Styx
Yeah.
and decides if you can cross or not?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you have, I think this is Horus, I believe.
Okay.
So then, that's all this energy I feel like is things are going to be fine, but I think give yourself time. Give yourself time. There is no rush here. And we will have Mars eventually I'm thinking about Mercury, but I'm also considering the fact that Mars is going to be retrograde in a trine to Scorpio. So I think they're going to get some energy of things that they're going to have to deal with emotionally. So I don't want them to rush too much, because I think this Mercury thing that's going on for them is also going to be something that I think that lags over into the Mars energy. I feel like, and you got to remember, Mars is also a ruler of
Yeah.
Scorpio. So that's maybe why I'm getting that. You just kind of go with what your gut is, and I really do feel that um, that it's going to take a while. I think part of what you're going to be dealing with is also this Mars retrograde energy. Mars goes retrograde on the 6th, and it's going to be at 6 degrees. So I think that's funny, of Leo. So there's definitely things that I think creatively, but I really feel like starting in January and it goes through February, where you're going to have all this energy in Cancer, where Mars is going to be in Cancer, and that's going to affect you. I think that you're going to be a lot in your feels then, and but I think the good news is that coming out of that, it's going to be so much better and clearer for you with everything going on. I really do feel like it's going to be a pain in the neck with Mars in this retrograde for you, but once it gets out of that energy and starts, I think it's really going to be once it gets out of Cancer completely again, after it goes direct and moves out, you will then do a lot of your healing then. And then by the time it gets into the energy of going into Leo, it'll be so much better. And
Yeah. Then the sun is like, no, 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 no,
yeah.
no. It's going to
So
feel a whole.
that's the feeling that I get for that whole. I think this is a long, long lesson and long emotional
Oh,
journey
yeah.
for. I really feel that right now for Scorpio going on. So let's see what you've had come up with
And
that.
that 5 of Swords too, I'm like, that's kind of stuck on my craw a little bit there is with that figure. And it's like, you can choose, like, it's like, do you cross the river or don't cross the river? And I don't know if Scorpio realizes it's their choice. So, like, I don't know what it is about that. That's such an interesting card to me. Like, okay, yeah, this is the person that decides, but your actions decide. And maybe, they're just getting a little hard on themselves here. So definitely take your time if you have to sort through some things and really ask if those are your own emotions, that you're kind of, maybe projecting onto someone, or like sort out if that's internal or if that's external, because that's really interesting. For Scorpio, I got Knight of Cups here, and it's really neat in this deck because this is pouring back into self. And you usually see the Knight of Cups, first of all, as a masculine figure. This is a feminine knight, and she is pouring into this stone statue. And it's ambiguous as far as if it's a feminine or masculine statue. So just like the Ace of Cups is, we have to pour into our own cup first before we can allow our waters to be shared with others. There's full moon energy here behind the trees. It's really dark, but that full moon is going. And this is, for me, for Scorpios, like, you've got to make sure that you're pouring into yourself. And have you really gone to the depths of what those old, cold, stone, hard truths are about? What in the past maybe has hardened your heart? I mean, you want to talk about honey badgers, Scorpio energy, like, when they are done, they are done. Like, there is no compromise there. And to be able for even Scorpio to think about re-energizing a stone cold relationship that's been long gone, I don't know. As long as you're pouring into yourself first. Let's see what's in the environment here. Queen of Wands, that's the glow up. Yeah, this is Scorpio pouring back into themselves. So you get in your groove back here, Scorpio. If you felt like a wall, maybe you felt like a lead weight here. Maybe you felt a little lethargic, or maybe you felt your energy is kind of low. Um, which Scorpio, every Scorpio I know is always doing a million things at the same time. There's that creative energy and that creative flow coming back to you. Your glow up is on the way, but this is about let's slow down and stop doing a million things. Make sure we're pouring into ourselves is the most important of those million things. And in that way, that energy comes right back around and we're wielding that wand. I mean, that's the manifester. Queen of Wands is Scorpio and Aries energy because of Mars. So I feel like this Mars energy is forcing them to kind of look at some of those, maybe even skeletons they thought that were long gone, like kind of a, what's it called in the cemeteries when it's just the mausoleum energy, like looking at those old statues, looking at the past, looking at the history, diving a little bit deeper to see maybe where we can stand a little bit more room to pour back into ourselves instead of focusing on others. Where's that energy for ourself, especially if that Five of Swords feeling is resonating for anyone of, is that really your energy or is it really the other person? What is it? Dig a little deeper.
Yeah, I think it feels a very long haul for the Scorpio energy. I feel like there's a lot of work coming in and a lot of emotional stuff, and you showing that it's going to be them putting their energy back into themselves. It's like then they need to refeed that energy back into themselves is kind of that energy that I'm getting. But
Recalibration. Yes.
recalibration.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we move on to Sagittarius and Sagittarius energy. What came out, what jumped out, and I kind of can get this where it's a Seven of Cups and it's like, so it's with all this Mercury energy in Sagittarius, so many choices, don't know what to, I get this mind racing energy of
Yeah.
there's so many choices, I don't know what to, yeah, there's just too much. There's just too much, right? And that's the energy that I'm getting from that. And then you have Jupiter in Gemini, which thankfully is in retrograde because I actually think they'd be running around in circles if it was a direct right now. But I think that I think that it's just like, okay, whoa, Nelly.
Yeah.
But there's just so many thoughts, so many things. I don't know what to choose, And then the card that came from the underside of the deck, I think this is really interesting, is that Nine of Swords energy where it's like, okay, zen out, ground yourself, go to that higher mind, get out of that, sad, woe is me energy and just get into that higher vibrational thing and ground yourself down. I think that is the answer for Sagittarius right now. It's like there's so many things going on, there's so many choices, and you just have to step back and ground yourself and be in a higher mind. And I feel like they're waiting it out. We need to wait this out a little bit until we have Mercury going direct on the 15th. And even then, I would say, I think that they need to reevaluate. That's what I think. Because I don't really know if it's the time for them to step forward with a new plan yet. I still think that I'm interested to see what comes out for you because I feel like there's something that they're not, I feel like they're not quite ready even when it goes direct. There's still a waiting period here. And I'm not
Yeah.
sure why I'm getting that feeling. So let's see what you get from this.
I was here when you were holding that up. I just was like, they're everywhere. They're
I
everywhere.
know.
Is that a commercial or like a cartoon or old Disney? You're way better at Disney than I am. But it's like they're everywhere. They're everywhere. It's like the scattered. There's like just so many unfinished
Right,
piles. Or it's
right.
like, how can anybody think in that when there's so much going? It's just like
Yeah, you're getting
instead
the
of,
same,
you know,
same vibe. Yeah, I'm getting that same
10,000,
vibe.
like, well, yeah, 8 of Swords. That is like, yep, stuck in the prison of your own mind here. And there are 2 ships stuck in the harbor. And that's like when you are doing, when there's too much going on at once, the what your imports are that are supposed to be exports are not getting exported. They're stuck in the harbor. Like all of that work, all of that energy, all of those wishes, I want all these things, is being slowed down by overthinking it way more. Yeah, it's everywhere. They're everywhere. Like overstimulation. It was feeling like, I'm like, I know what that feels like. That's like a little bit of ADHD energy, is what I was thinking when you were holding up those 2 cards. I'm like, that's what that feels like.
Well,
And yeah, it's like that energy of like doing a million things all at once, or having a million things to do, but then not getting that. The goal was to get the ship loaded and to get the exports out. But then because there's so many things going on, they're still sitting there. So they're on the precipice of something. Oh my gosh. They're on the precipice of something. This is 2 of Pentacles. This is stuck in the past and stuck in the present, and like, or in the future. Anxiety is, what's that saying? Anxiety is worrying about the future, and regret is worrying about the past. And then you kind of teeter totter back and forth between the two. You're missing the moment of now, Saggies. We're not getting that export to go out. Her head is sitting down on her clavicle. So her whole entire throat chakra is not even being used. This is a crane. So there's a live crane that is kind of aimed to fly towards the past, but then there's a skeleton of a crane kind of wanting to come with her in the future. And we've got to really release. It's that sinking thinking. It's that like, what is it called when ruminate, like the rumination and the over analyzing the crap out of everything and going this way or this way, this way or this way. And 2 of Pentacles, I mean, it's a stage card, so you never truly know kind of what's going on in this picture. There's like this cauldron that's on the top of her head, and you're like, in the Sam, like, what is going on here in this card? You don't quite know. Everything is so cloudy. And it just feels like the Sagittarians are getting overwhelmed here by the minutia.
hmm.
Like they're getting caught up, they're getting tripped up in their thoughts and overthinking, like ADHD, overthinking the little things. And then that ship gets late, is delayed. That actual product is delayed, getting pushed out here for some reason. Yeah, this, whew. Yeah, and 4 of Cups, overthinking about the past actions. Like 4 of Cups is sitting doing nothing, but Page of Wands is throwing caution to the air. That's literally, those are opposite energies also. So opposite energies in their environment, and also opposite energy in which action to take. Let me, we're getting the same thing on that. Let me see if I can get any clarification for poor Sag. Okay, Page of Wands, Queen of Swords on the bottom. Be more decisive. They got to decide what to leave behind here. That's just it. They're getting caught up in the moment. Caught up in the moment is
Yeah,
what I would say for,
yeah, and that
yeah.
thing, it's the 9 of Swords. It's all that energy. But I'm like, okay, you need to. She's pausing. I mean, she's like, okay, everything's stopping. Everything's stopping.
You
And
gotta.
and doing that, I really, the second I pulled these cards out, I'm like, oh my God, it's just the energy is just, it's like,
You hear how I'm talking, right? How I feel like that's what it feels like.
Sag, settle down. Please, please.
Sagittarius are always fun. What is up?
They
What is
are, but I
going
think
on?
it's like this racing stuff, and I think
Yes.
it's going to be really, when you fall, it's like too much sugar.
That, or like you're like, oh shit, I forgot to take my meds today. No wonder I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's the energy that I'm getting. It's just like, and I'm like, calm
That's our
down.
professional. That is our professional
A professional
understanding
opinion.
here. This.
Sag.
Saggies, what is up with that? Come on now.
Yeah, and I don't feel that they're gonna kite. I don't think they're gonna get out of it until Mercury gets out of Sagittarius. I'm sorry. That's
What in the heck? Let me look. Okay, tell me if this makes sense. For the sun today, I was like, this Sabian symbol makes no sense. This might be why. A flag that turns into an eagle that crows. Those are three different things. Like one has nothing to do with the what? Like, what is that? And it says preparing to announce our willingness to evolve and speak of our discoveries about what those mean. Okay, our willingness to evolve and speak of our own discoveries and what they mean. Two of Pentacles, her whole entire neck with throat chakra was gone. She's not sleeping at night. You're in your own head. Like it's preparing to announce. So maybe they're getting to get ready to present some big project and they're all just like a ball of nerves. I don't know. 13 is a widow's past is brought to light. We must face up to our past imperfections. Maybe something's coming back around to.
yeah.
I don't know, Saji. That is all over the place.
And I don't think that they're gonna get out of it until Mercury gets at
Man,
least gets through gets past the shadow stage until it passes that 22 degrees of Sag. And then I think it'll move forward. But I really feel it's gonna Mercury getting out of Sag completely, because this is just crazy.
it feels like Sagi's getting hammered here right now. They're in the evolution chunk of those symbols. So it's about evolving. And no wonder there, because the old ways just aren't working the same way.
And I think they might be getting the effect of the because Leo being, I think Mars is interfering here, because Mars is going to be going retrograde in a fire sign, and that is going to be in a trine to what's going on in Sagittarius. And I think that with Mars doing that, I feel like that is also what's going to be affecting Sagittarius as well. I feel like that energy, it's almost like it going into retrograde is messing up the creativity for Sagittarius. That's what
Yeah,
I feel like.
a wrench in the works. Like
Yeah,
it's something just like a wrench got in their cog or something like that. Like everything was always kind of going, things, yes, maybe there are 10,000 projects, but they all, one thing leads to the next, leads to the next.
right.
But it's like someone just threw a stick of dynamite in their cogs and it's like, wait, now I've got to sort out all this mess that's blown apart. And that's why it kind of feels like,
And
what do I
earlier,
do?
yeah, earlier in the year, I wasn't really happy about this time for Sagittarius anyway, because they get both the Mercury retrograde and they get the Saturn retrograde in a way that affects them both. So I was like,
Man,
yeah, I'm not thinking this is a great time for Sag, just
this
because.
is,
And
yeah,
I felt
that
that
I
earlier in
can
the
just
year.
feel that in Sag energy. Jeez, it's like always like, yeah,
And
just like that's
normally they're
unusual.
great. I mean, normally they're great, but right now I just think they're so overwired right now with
Yeah,
everything.
it's very feel like just even feeling the energy. I feel like I've had 20 cups of coffee.
Yeah, yeah. I feel that's very. It was just like from the get go. I was like, oh my god, too
And
much,
I'm a
too much.
hyperactive person, but for me to go, that's a bit much. That's saying something.
I'm just like, I have a son who's a Sag son, and I'm like, I'm so sorry right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, but he's, at least his degree is further on, so it's not being hit. It shouldn't be hit with this
Yeah.
and stuff going on. But yeah,
I think, yeah, with that retrograde, if they're 7 to 10 degrees Saggy, or even just today, because it's, we're reading for today, 12 and 13, there, 11 to 12 degrees is 12 to 13 of the symbol. You're evolving. It's just growing pains. It's okay. It's okay.
I
Wow.
So I was dealing for Capricorn. Oh, there we go. There we go. And then what's on the bottom here? So for Capricorn energy, this is funny. I always like these cards. So for Capricorn, I'm sure you're feeling much better now that Pluto is gone. You can do a happy dance because it was opposite my sun in Cancer. I have a 25-degree Cancer sun, and I'm like, please, please, please leave.
It was opposing me too. Yeah.
Yeah, not a fun time. So you get the Ace of Swords, Capricorn. So really, Pluto dug out everything that you, every little secret that you had, everything that, it's just like, oh, well, truth comes out. And that's what I feel like with Capricorn, is that they're getting all this truth energy. And to me, that's a lot of what's going on now. And if you add Uranus into the mix here somewhere, you also get the unexpected truth. Like, things are going to be coming out, I think, that are going to be interesting for you. I think to your I'm kind of wondering what this other card is coming up, what this means, but because on the underside of the deck, the truth comes out, and then you have the 9 of Wands here. And this card I love because I call this my Hansel burns down the witch's, the witch's house. I mean, she's got all these things. It's just like, this is this little girl who's like done. She has burned down the witch's house. She's got all those things on, all the skulls on fire. She is taking no prisoners.
I love it.
This is Gretel having it going on, and she's not putting up with nothing no more. So whatever this truth is I feel that has come up for Capricorn is just like, oh yeah, a lot of stuff is you're finishing up stuff. It's going to be done. These are it's usually the wounded warrior energy, but there's nothing wounded about her in this. It's just like, I'm taking care of this. I'm going to be finished with this. I'm not, I really feel like she is in charge. She's in charge.
It feels like I was getting the dishes are done, man. Wasn't that Babysitter's Club or some old movie where they like throw the dish out the window and they like shoot the dish or something like that? And he's like, the dishes are done, man. Like, they are done. Like, with that, a 9 is a done energy. That's the end of numerology. So I love that she's like, match behind her. Okay, bye-bye.
It's the explosion in the background as the hero walks forward, right? It's like,
it doesn't mean that it wasn't tough.
But handled. It's just like, okay, handled. That's
oh my gosh. And that was your first card, right? That was the flyer, or that was your volunteer?
The flyer was
the Ace of Swords crossed by. Okay, I was getting merry-go-round with that one, like the park. And then you said Taurus energy because of Capricorn. Taurus is a large, well-kept park. That's the symbol right now. And I was getting merry-go-round. So
yeah, it's really interesting energy, but I'm just like,
gosh. Woo! Well, that's super interesting. I was like, now, was that the first card? But no, I got 9 of Wands, was the flipper. It flipped over like mid to top of the deck. And this is like just being tired, like that hard work is behind her. All the wands are behind her. Some decks show it using the wands as kind of a barricade in front of her, but the barricade is pretty flimsy, like in the Light Seers deck. This is all behind you, Capricorn. It was a pain in the ass. And like the look on her face, she's been kind of torn to shreds here a little bit, but she's determined. It's all behind her, and she is living to tell the story, living another day to tell the story about it. And on the bottom of the deck, King of Pentacles, it's not going to be for naught. So there's your Taurus energy there that you were talking about with Uranus.
Well, and
so here's the king of the park of the merry-go.
Well, and these are behind her too. I mean, the wands are behind her as well here. It's just like, oh, this is done. This is like, oh, I finished this off. This is done. So it's like,
The look on her face, I wish you could see it closer. I'll try to get it up a little bit closer there, but she has this look on her face like, try me. Just try it, mister. Just try it. But stability, oh, whoa, Capricorn, if you've done your work, you might be getting that gifty here coming in. Wow, that sword in the museum with that Ace of Swords that you pulled, developing sharpness of intent. All this was not for naught. That Nine of Wands was not for nothing. It helped you develop your Ace of Swords. Helped you develop a sharpness of intent. And look, we have I rarely ever see a king and queen come together in a deck, like one right behind the other. That just doesn't normally happen that way. So Capricorn, there's some kind of luck coming your way. I feel like this is for the Capricorns that did the work and they're surviving to tell the story about it, because abundance is about to hit big time. You're getting those rewards here, daddy saddy. If you did your job, when they turn the lights of the classroom on, you get to show that you did all your work here. Wow, that was something.
Well, so now,
Capricorn, good for you.
yeah, really. So I got Aquarius, and my volunteer that came out was the High Priestess.
Ooh.
And you see like this moon behind her, and this actually is Scheherazade in this deck. So this is her, and to me, it's so fitting with the fact this is Mercury retrograde. It's the stories that we tell ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So this is Aquarius energy. This is the High Priestess, and the thing about Aquarius is I always feel like they don't talk about their emotions. They just kind of like, and they're usually so far out there in advance of people because that their mind is just that, the concepts, all of that energy is just so there. So I feel like it's like, how does MJ say it? Where you been? Like,
Oh yeah, been waiting for you to get here.
yeah, that's exactly. Don't you feel that energy from this? I'm like, yeah, it's just like, where you been? Been sitting here reading my book, waiting for you to catch up.
Well, Scheherazade was very, very clever. She told 1,000, and she kept herself and her other females around her alive for 1,001 nights by winning over the king, and by her intellectual ability to tell a story. So she saved her life and all the other women's lives because of her cleverness. And usually the high priestess doesn't talk, right? It's mouth closed. It's just about intuition. But this is about, yeah, that was her instinct to do that. She knew that there was danger. And this was a clever way to engineer herself out of it. I feel like Aquarians are always the engineers of the zodiac, with the ideas flying around, getting their patents and.
Well, and the Mercury energy of she's got the book there but because we're talking about Mercury retrograde and everything that's going on, I really feel, and again, this is something that would be anything that's in Sagittarius with this Mercury retrograde would be in a sextile to Aquarius. So very beneficial energy for Aquarius here. And it's like, I can work with this. I can work with this. I've got this. I can work with this energy. That's the feeling that I'm getting. And then the card that was on the underside of the deck was this Page of Swords. It's just like there's so many new things starting up, Aquarius. It's like, but they're ready. It's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I've got, I can get going at a moment's notice. Messages are going to be coming in. I just feel like they're in the right place at the right time. They'll be in the right place at the right time. That's the energy that I'm getting. It's very much an energy of they've been waiting for their moment. Their moment is coming.
Oh, finally. Is he on? It looks like an actual, I know that's probably a mountain, but it looks like a road with the yellow stripe down the middle, you know what I mean? Like a freeway, but like coming down the downside of it, and you don't have to climb anymore. You're on the other side of something, and now it's an easier trek,
Yeah.
so to speak.
I think, yeah, they're just getting started, right? It's like,
Yeah.
finally.
20 Yeah, 20 years. That's a long time. They're going down. Oh, that's why. Okay. I'm like, why does it look like a road? And they're going down the other side. Well, 10 of Wands is back, and it's like, okay, that's when we see the house, and there's only a few. You've already done all the work. Now you get to set down your firewood that's going to last you the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Now you get to set it down because you did all the work. Much. That is the world energy. That is the moon and the earth there in juxtaposition with that opportunity. The divine masculine and divine feminine is opening up. She's got the reach toothbrush flip top head going on here, and the divine masculine and divine feminine are popping up out of her head. And it always reminds me, is that called the Star of David? Or, the picture of is it of man, or it's famous picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was see if I needed to give her
Da
any
Vinci.
privacy.
It's Da
I
Vinci.
don't.
It's
Yes,
Da
Da
Vinci.
Vinci. And then what's it called? The shoot, I can see it right in my head, but I can't figure out the name of it. Shoot.
I'll
We'll
look it up.
maybe put it in the comments later, but
The Vitruvian man.
yes, yes, that's what that reminds me of, and I'm not sure of why the reference, but I was thinking the Star of David for some reason, but right underneath the world is the star. So you've done all the work. In the next 20 years, you get to reap the benefits. It's like you're pulling in the wish. What's interesting about this card, Aquarius, is not only is it your card, of course, but she's a fish there, but she only has scales. Imagine how hard it would be to keep yourself afloat in an ocean where you didn't have a normal fish body. The water's going right through those scales, right through the ribs, right through everything. So she had to create her own way to swim, which was to fix this ship on the top of her head. And that's the way she could catch the wind in her sails, so that even though her swimming ability was really tested, was really overburdened, the ship was sinking, they found a way. They found a way to stay afloat, and now that's coming back in here. That's over. That hard work is done. We're setting that down, and now your wish is coming in here for you. I would say, especially have them look at the degrees of their sun to kind of know. I mean, 20 years to spread into 30 degrees is a is a long time in each of those degrees. So that'll kind of tell you maybe where your wish is coming to fruition, is what I would say there for sure.
And usually
That's
Pluto
pretty
transits
incredible.
last like a year anyway, because Pluto's going back and forth
Yeah.
over the degrees. So it's like, okay. So I pulled for Pisces. This is kind of interesting. Two cards came out as volunteers. The first one is the King of Wands, which to me is very it's very attractive energy. It's very modern energy. It's very now energy. But we need to remember that Mercury is in a square with Sagittarius, would be in a square with things in Pisces.
Mm,
So it's getting that square energy, but I think it's helping you out because it's making you take action and move forward. The other thing that came out with that was the Three of Cups. So I feel like I taking charge and taking the lead, and I think maybe working with friends and other people, because Three of Cups energy is being around people that you enjoy and that you really like, and I feel like this Pisces energy is very much about with that square energy. You've got Saturn that's in Pisces, you've got Neptune that's in Pisces. Neptune is going to be going direct the 7th, December 7th. We're in the energy right now of Neptune stationing. So I think that's gonna, because it's just like, oh my goodness, what a relief for for Pisces to have. Whenever Neptune, I think, is retrograde with this Pisces energy, it gets really confusing for Pisces, because it's just like Pisces is kind of like ethereal anyway, and then when you have Neptune going retrograde, it's especially not clear where you're going. Saturn just turned direct, so that is going to be helping that energy somewhat. But now
yeah.
Neptune is going to be direct this week. So
Yeah.
Now you can take the lead on this. Now you can start working with other people. Now you can start getting stuff done. And then the card that was on the underneath, 8 of coins, do the work, carry water, chop wood. This week you can get started, because the energy that's in this square with this Mercury energy, I think, is going to refine things for you. It's going to clear things up, especially when we get that direct motion from the 15th, where it'll be 6 degrees to 22 degrees. Anything in Pisces that's in a square to that, that'll be going over Saturn. And then when it gets out of that energy, it'll be going over Neptune. So this is, do the work. This is do the work. And keep moving.
And that's reward. That's becoming an expert at that's becoming an expert. All this has, even that slowdown, even though it was confusing, this has taught them. And you just said Saturn is already direct. That's back to our sword in a museum energy, developing sharpness of intent. That's so King of Wands. He knows what he wants. I see it, I want it, it's mine. And going to get it. And that's not really Pisces kind of energy, you know what I mean? But when you do that, look at the reward of that 3 of Cups that you get. That is 28 degrees Pisces of Neptune. The dreaminess is a fertile garden under the full moon, seeing our lives as the fulfillment of our desire. I see it, I want it, it's mine, celebrate it. So I think that's you're right, it's going to really hit and come in full effect when that goes through this week. Hello, it's like nothing, bam. Oh, it's here.
And it's coming in, and it's going to continue to come in like that. That's what I feel like. It's like
here. Wow, I love that. That's really cool. Good for Pisces. Let's see what else is happening for Pisces here. What else is happening for Pisces? I'm looking at this blue-haired chick and coming up and out of the water like, ta-da! The life force energy, 34 is a 7. The Chariot, which is a 7. And this is literally the sky opening up, and see how she's coming out of the cosmos. So it's like, by going direct here, the dream is like ripping the sky open, and you're not stuck up in the cosmos anymore. We're bringing it into the 3D with that King of Wands. And because you're like, okay, I got it, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going, the sharpness of intent. She's holding 2 masks. She's holding her past self, she's holding her future self, and she's standing tall in the middle, not worrying about either one of them, because the past is directing where she wants to go in the future. The horses' heads are touching. So that means alignment of head and heart, the yin and the yang. Getting a big ear squeeze, are balancing. Pisces bossing up. You're getting ready, be ready to go fast, because it feels like this might be, like now, like when you're getting ready to go on stage and they tell you you've got 10 minutes and they're like, actually, no, you got to go now. And you're like, now, you gotta go. You just gotta go. Oh man. And you are having a good time. This is the devil energy, but I love it, because the Persephone got snatched down and she's like, what the heck? What's going on now? Oh my gosh. Right. But then she gets down there and she's like, oh, we have a 6-pack. I can work with this. And Hades is very good looking in this picture. He dead sexy. So you ain't hating life here, Pisces. Even though you might have been afraid of this, even though you might have got caught off guard after a long lull, the sky opens up and you gotta go. And it's not going to be as scary as you think it is. I mean, he's hot. It's actually going to be very healing. That is healing energy. And this 4 of Swords is really interesting because of that Black Panther in the tree. That's that reclaiming your power. And it is a crescent moon as the light is turning down on the moon. So this looks like this is coming up here, this temptation, this, like, you might be like, it's me. I won. I got picked. I was the one. You got to go now. take it, because this is right before the next new moon, which is going to be by month end, right? Right. That's on the last day of the month. So this action comes in fast at that stationing, moving forward movement. And then right before we hit that new moon on the last day of this month, yeah, your power's turning back on here. It's like you've already done all the work. There's no, the four swords are behind her. So it's nothing above her. She doesn't need to grab the sword of truth. This is like, I'm resting because I earned this rest. I've been waiting all this time. And yep, and he's sexy. So I want to lay flat. So you might even be having a yummy new customer coming in here, Pisces.
Well, and yeah, the new moon is going to be in Capricorn on December 30th at 4:26 Central, so it'd be 5:26 Eastern on the 30th, which is really a good time to, you know, kind of preset your New Year's resolution.
No, yeah, new moon in Capricorn. Much Capricorn's the devil. That's their archetypal card. So
yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's like,
yep,
we're gonna go. Yeah, it's gonna
coming
be
in hot. Coming in hot, Pisces.
Well, that was fun. I think that we'll have a good time with
fun.
that. Yeah. So hang on. I'm just going to end the recording for us and then we'll take off.
Okay.